On August 28, 2020, a speedrunner named German completed the any percent category of Braid in less than 23 minutes. How was it possible to beat this game so quickly? What strategies and tricks were employed? Were there any glitches in the game that were abused? Join us on a journey to break down this remarkable feat. Braid is a puzzle platformer game that was released in 2008. The purpose of the game is to collect 60 puzzle pieces, which are scattered about the various levels. The pieces are used to reassemble 5 puzzles, and for each completed puzzle, a part of a ladder is formed, which ultimately brings the player to the attic of the house and to the last 4 levels of the game. What truly sets Braid apart from other platformers is the use of time manipulation. At almost any point in the game, you have the ability to rewind time. Time rewind can be done 8 times faster than normal game speed. The game itself promotes speedrunning by having a speedrun mode. When you play the game in speedrun mode, each level transition is shortened, and a timer is added to the top right of the screen. There are some speedrunning techniques that will be used throughout the run. One of these is boosting. When Tim hits a rounded corner, either with his feet or with his head, he gains some extra speed. Any downward slope steep enough will also boost Tim, so jumping downhill is common when speedrunning this game. Tim also retains much of his speed if he jumps right as he lands. This is known as bunny jumping, and you can preserve speed for at least 2 bunny jumps. Jumping uphill is usually bad, as the incline will push Tim back when he lands on it. The exception is landing on top of a hill or a really steep incline, as walking up those is even slower. Another technique is to jump when Tim is going from a standstill to running speed. This is 1 frame faster than just running. A warning, if you've never played Braid, this video will spoil most of the game. But Braid is a great game, so do yourself a favor and play it before you continue watching. Just like in Zelda, the protagonist of this game is not called Braid. He's called Tim, and we will be referring to him as Tim throughout the video. As this run starts, Tim is outdoors in a dark world, and will soon be moving to a house, which acts as the overworld of this game. Each room in the house is a world with several levels inside. Okay, enough chit-chat. Let's get into the run itself.
German jumps at the start of this run to save 1 frame. He also jumps downhill to boost speed. This jump makes him land on top of the incline. He hits a head boost here before entering the first world of the game. Whenever you stand in front of a door, you see a button light up above it, indicating that you can press up to enter it. It's possible to enter a door 1 frame before the button shows up. This is a frame-perfect door entry. Throughout this run, German has several frame-perfect door entries. In fact, both doors here are frame-perfect, and actually this opening segment is very quick. In 2013, a Braid tool-assisted speedrun, or TAS for short, was created, and German actually enters this door 2 frames faster than the TAS run. This first level is fairly simple but has a few tricks. You need to complete the first part somewhat quickly to set up a trick for the last puzzle piece. You see German here jumping a lot downhill to save time. Each enemy in this game gives you a bounce when you kill it, which stacks in height up to 3 times. When getting this second piece, German bounces on this monster while moving left as little as possible. This sets up a quick double bounce on these next 2 monsters. I suppose these enemies are called monsters and not Goombas for legal reasons. In this next level we are introduced to keys and moving platforms. Any key can open any door, and running on a moving platform, like a cloud, gives you more speed if you are moving in the same direction. German got a small corner boost here, and got a really good corner boost on the last one, saving about half a second compared to not getting a boost. There are 2 more puzzle pieces on this level which are not possible to get yet. You need 2 other puzzle pieces with platforms on them to get them, so German will return to this level and collect them later. German kills this monster, and if you look closely, he is pushed forward as he jumps the landing. This is because there is a small dip right here where he lands, coined a ground booster. German only takes one piece from this level now, as it's quite unconnected from the rest of the level. Unfortunately, it's cycle based and there is very little you can do to save time here. Get a good timing on the platform and a good position here for this jump. Each monster needs to be killed to open this door. There is some time to save here, and German pulls off a very difficult strategy. It involves bouncing on this monster as late as possible, which allows him to climb this ladder as little as possible. Then he sets up to combine a bounce with a corner boost to get 2 rapid kills in a row and line up very well with this next ladder. Turning around in the air at the exact right moment is crucial for saving time with this trick. German unfortunately misses it on the first try, losing about 2 seconds. For some odd reason, monster hitboxes are smaller when you run into them than when you jump on them. Because of this, you can walk into the monster and then jump to kill them. This is slightly faster than jumping and turning around in the air. With the platform pieces now collected, German uses them to both bring this monster down and himself up to get these last 2 pieces. The last jump here is a bit tricky because you have to both line yourself up on a good spot and jump on the monster as it's moving, hitting it on the right to save the most time. German did this so well that he actually golded this level. Golding in speedrunning is completing the level faster than ever before. This level is cycle based with a couple of tricky jumps. You have about 10 frames or so to get this jump right. You have to fall down correctly here to pick up a puzzle piece and now wait for a cycle of monsters falling. The last trick of this world is to jump over the plant as soon as possible. It's possible to stand on the edge of this pipe without getting hit, but you only have a few pixels to work with. Once you touch the flag, the timer stops temporarily and the world is done. After each world you have to finish the puzzle and the in-game timer stops again.
Each world in this game introduces a new game mechanic. For World 3, it is items which are unaffected by time travel. These items will be glowing with a green hue. They can be keys, doors, platforms, monsters, puzzle pieces, and cannons with cannonballs or clouds. Since rewinding is much faster than tracking back, the run will pick up some speed in this world. In Braid, pressing down and S together causes the rewind to go faster. This makes it possible to spam both buttons to get to the maximal rewind speed as quickly as possible. German has some very quick and precise rewinds in this run. Since this key is green, you can rewind back up from this pit without losing it. This beam is sliding down, eventually blocking the door. Since the key is green, you have to rewind back instead of traveling back to return to the door without it getting blocked. This level has some green clouds and some normal clouds. You have to manipulate time to line them up. German hits a tricky corner boost here, which no other Braid runners attempt to do. He has to freeze here and wait for a green cloud to come out. He also gets a second corner boost from this cannon at the end. This level is quite tricky. First, you need to get to this lever as fast as possible to guide this Monstar across the pit. The Monstar picks up this key and we take it from him. Since this puzzle piece is green, you can rewind after taking it without losing it. This rewind is very precise, followed by a corner boost. This lever and platform is green, so you can hit it, rewind, hit it again, and rewind fast to get up and have the platform out of the way at the same time. You can't jump over this gap, so you need to get back down to move the platform again. This maneuver is quite difficult to master, and losing 3 to 5 seconds on this level is very common. The rabbits in Braid are called mimics. Tim will be jumping a lot downhill here. He needs to start jumping at a fairly precise spot in order to chain up the jumps without hitting this last mimic. The game wants you to solve a puzzle to pick up this puzzle piece, but we can skip that using a trick known as the ladder jump. In Braid, it's possible to jump within 10 frames of leaving a platform. We call this behavior a coyote jump. The same trick is possible while climbing ladders. If you stand on the ground or a platform and then start to climb a ladder, you can jump off the ladder within the first 10 frames. You'll then jump from where you are on the ladder instead of falling down, resulting in an extra high jump. Additionally, if you set up this trick fast enough, you can beat a plant cycle later, saving more time. Gurman even gets a tricky corner boost here, which makes it easy for him to beat this plant cycle. He gets a small boost off of this cannon too, setting him up for an earlier cannonball cycle compared to other speedruns. For this last piece, you were supposed to line up a green cannon with a non-green cannon, but you can instead just use another ladder jump. In this level, we do the last part first, as the first part has us wait for a slow-moving platform. Gurman uses a precise sound cue to begin to jump over this plant. If you have a normal key but a green door, you can open the door, rewind, and then you get your key back while the door remains open. This allows him to get past these plants in one go and grab this green key from the pit. After a precise rewind, Gurman uses the aforementioned technique to open 3 doors with 2 keys. We can now move to the first part of the level, which requires precise timings and jumps to get safely across without slowing down. There is also an important corner boost here, as it's so high up and gives you extra speed for a longer amount of time. It's possible to save a second or so at the very end by performing a frame-perfect door entry. There is a mimic guarding this door, and it's possible to enter the door the frame before you die. The death animation still plays, but you will get sent to the next level anyway. Unfortunately, the area where this trick is possible is less than 6 pixels, and Tim moves 6 pixels per frame. That means that sometimes, even with a frame-perfect up press, you just can't enter the door. It's impossible to know if you were on the right pixels or not before you try this trick, so this was a gamble from Gurman, which paid off, even if he had to use 2 attempts. First, it's possible to jump over this gap and pick up the key in one swoop, which Gurman does beautifully. This boss is green and has 5 lives. He loses 1 life each time the chandelier hits his head. Since the chandeliers are not green, you can rapidly rewind to make each one hit the boss several times in a row. This level has one of the biggest skips in the game. Normally, the game would have you walk around the top of this level once, and then have a whole second part down here. But it was found that if you simply jump at this spot and then rewind back after you pull the lever, you can get enough height to barely reach this platform. Additionally, because of the coyote jump, you can jump again for 10 frames, even though the platform is gone. Gurman almost failed this trick, which would have resulted in a reset, but he saved it with a quick, small rewind. Because you finished this first part much faster than the game intended, you can now pick up this piece without having to do the second part of the level. This whole trick saves about 40 seconds over the old strategy. And with this, World 3 is done.
The game mechanic of World 4 is that time moves forward when you move right and time moves backwards when you move left. If you ever play the game super hot, it feels a bit like that, but with the addition of time going back as well. Furthermore, the time rewind mechanic that is already in the game is also present. This can make World 4 a bit confusing. We spoke earlier of frame-perfect door entries. Well, this is what happens if you miss it. You need to keep moving right in order for this monster to move enough left to pick up this key. Then you need to move left again to bring him out. You can then rewind back up since the key is green. This level will need quite a bit of explanation. If it was possible to go over the top of this door section, it would save a lot of time, as the alternative is this climbing section. Runners tried to do this for a long time, but the only trick that was found was so difficult and seemingly random that it's only been done in the TAS run. But in June 2020, a speedrunner named Chicken Leg posted this in the Braid Speedrun Discord server. This could potentially solve the issue. I will try to explain what happens here. Monster hitboxes are smaller when you walk into them than when you jump on them. This makes it possible to stand almost inside them without dying, but then kill them if you jump. Additionally, in this world, monsters won't die unless you move right, as time is standing still when you are standing still. They also have the attribute that you get a bounce when you kill them. So, if you stand inside a monster, jump up while standing still, and then freeze time at the very frame the monster is supposed to die, you will somehow gain a lot of speed when you let go of the time freeze. You get shot out left if you stand on the left side of the monster, and vice versa. All the elements I mentioned are important for this to work, but we still don't know exactly why you gain so much speed just because you freeze time on this frame. It also creates a wonderful sound. The longer you freeze time, the more speed you gain, and the acceleration is quite quick. Knowing exactly how long the time freeze should be in order to get a good result is very difficult, as one or more frames of frozen time can change the outcome by quite a bit. The best outcome of this glitch is hitting the corner here, as you get to continue to move over the level at high speed instead of walking. And since you need to repeat this part twice, it saves even more time. As you can see, Gurman got just about as good of a boost as you can get here. The execution could have been slightly better, but this was a really fast level, saving him some time. This is the only true helpful glitch that has been found in the game so far. This level is more straightforward. You activate this lever and jump out left to deactivate it. This makes it possible to continue to this next part, where you again need to lead a monster to pick up a key for you. You quickly rewind to pick up the key, and then grab this last piece followed by another quick rewind. This game likes to repeat levels from other worlds, but they changed because the in-game mechanics have changed. If you try to kill all the monsters in the same order as before, they won't all stay dead at the same time, as moving left brings them back to life, so we need to start at the top. Since moving left brings them back to life, we can use this to get several bounces on the same monster. This fall here is done by simply holding left after you climb down a bit. You continue like this, killing the monsters in this particular order. Since this door is green, all the monsters do not need to be dead when you enter it, they only need to be dead at the same time at some point in time. So Gurman can do a quick rewind after killing the last one. This is another level with a big skip. You are supposed again to use this monster to get a key, so you can open this door and get this piece. But it's much faster to ignore all of that and use this mimic instead. Unfortunately, the movement of a mimic is quite hard to manipulate. You need to jump from this position, get past the mimic to this position, and then jump over. And also move left just enough to hit him without killing him. If you do all of it correctly, you can now bounce on him to pick up this piece. This is a trick where many things can go wrong, and it's normal to lose some time here. Gurman did this about as fast as possible. For this last part, you have to guide this monster through 3 plants. Since the monster moves slowly and you need to wait for him to go down in order to jump on him, Gurman uses this time to set up a quick rewind back to the door afterwards. Yet another level where you have to use a monster to get a key for you. This one can't be skipped, but it can be done very quickly with some very precise timing. Gurman climbs this ladder for a precise amount of time and then turns around here at this exact spot. This makes it possible for the monster to pass 2 sets of plants at the same time. You have very few frames to work with to make this possible. Since you can't see the monster anymore, you have to listen for the sound it makes when he picks up the key. As soon as the monster has the key, German rewinds to X8 speed and switches the rewind to a forward at the exact moment he meets the Goomba to pick up the key. He also lets go of shift at just the time he turns around, making it possible to now beat this plant cycle. This is what it looks like in normal speed. Very few runners have ever beaten this plant cycle, and German does it with about 33% success rate. Had he missed this plant cycle, he would have lost about 4 seconds. This key is not green, which means it will go back in time when you move left. So if you move left and move somewhere the key was not in the past, you will lose it. Hence the name of the level, Fickle Companion. This makes it difficult to maneuver around in a normal way. The first part is to bounce the monster up on this platform and quickly rewinding a bit to bring him with us. Tim now jumps on the monster to pick up the first piece. As soon as the monster is killed, a new one will shortly spawn, so time is of the essence. German needs to rewind quickly back as far right as possible and then open this door before the monster arrives. He moves left, the door closes, putting some distance between himself and the door. He lets the monster kill him and stays dead for a bit, so the monster can take the key. He then rewinds time a little, bringing him back to life and also opening the door as it was open in the past. This allows the monster to go through the door holding the key. Now you can move again, kill the monster, and you have the key to open the last door. This is what it looks like in normal speed. This is not the way the game intended for you to solve this puzzle. After Tim gets the puzzle piece, German rewinds back to the ladder and moves to the end of the level. World 4 is done. This level has been through a lot of changes throughout the history of Braid speedrunning in terms of what strategy to use. It was first developed in 2013 by PY, right after the first task was released. The task run actually had to change to fit the new strategy. However, only PY at the time attempted this strategy in single segment runs. Now it's performed by all the top runners, although quite difficult.
After finishing this puzzle, there are a few head boosts to go for in the house. The mechanic from World 4 will not follow into World 5. In this world, we have a shadow. If you rewind time, the shadow will repeat what Tim just did, even if Tim does something else after the rewind. Let's call this shadow Tom. Tom can interact with objects which have a purple hue. Since this puzzle piece at the bottom of this pit is purple, Tom can pick it up, and he will be left here. Poor Tom. This level is fairly straightforward. In fact, most of World 5 is, which is a nice break from the insanity of World 4. You need to use Tom to pull this lever, as the distance between the lever and this beam is too long for one run. You need to use Tom again here for another lever, so you can revive the Monstar and use him again. Poor Monstars. Another straightforward level here. This mimic will be agitated by Tom, so Tim can slip by later. You give yourself the key and learn that Tom completes jumps that Tim initiates. As the mimic is watching Tom, Tim slips by and gets the last puzzle piece. German finished this level with a very precise rewind. In this level, we see the return of the ladder jump. This one only works on frame 9 or 10, so it's a 2-frame perfect trick. First, you let Tom kill this Monstar, so a new one can spawn. Tim then bounces up to get this first piece, and then uses the ladder jump to get the second one. Another sacrifice for Tom to get this last piece for Tim. Another level with a lot of dancing between Tim and Tom. Sadly, all intended, although very optimized. You want to fall down here without landing on any platforms, and especially without getting any unintended corner boosts. Again, Tom will finish this jump later to open this door, preferably after you use it to jump on. We speed up a bit as Tim runs across the level again. Here, you need to set up Tom to press a lever for later. There's a nice corner boost here, which is hard to get. This is the second and last so-called boss fight of the game. He's not green, but he is purple, so the shadow chandeliers give him damage. You can activate one, rewind, and then activate one more. If you tap Shift right after he is hit with the first, the second one also gets a shadow, resulting in 3 easy hits from the first chandelier. Then, you can tap Shift after activating the second chandelier to finish him with 2 hits at once. This level is more than just a boss fight. You need to use the boss key to open up this door to pull a lever, and rewind just right to reach this part without being locked out by the beam. You can use Tom to get this purple piece for some time save and swag. Here, you have 2 purple doors and a green key. The game intends for you to have Tom finish the jump you start as you turn away to make sure you don't use your real key on the first door. Some nice boosts later, and World 5 is done.
We wave goodbye to Tom as we enter World 6. For this world we are given a ring. This ring can be placed on the ground and time moves very slowly close to the ring and gradually faster further away from the ring. Since the ring slows down time, you lose a lot of time in a speedrun whenever you use it. Most speedrunning strategies in World 6 revolve around using this ring as little as possible. The game intends you to put the ring down here to slow down this sliding beam. A more recent strategy revolves around placing the ring here instead, much later, which saves a few seconds, but the movement of Tim must be very precise. If not, you cannot get out after picking up the puzzle piece. This only works if you enter this level from the right door. Here you need to slow down the cloud using the ring. For this next cloud crossing, the game intends you to place the ring above the clouds to slow you down as you jump. But placing the ring on the cloud just before it vanishes gives you enough time to reach the next cloud. The next couple of levels are some of the hardest in the game. This whole level is done completely differently compared to the intended route. Here are some of the main intended strategies. All of these uses the ring and are therefore quite slow. We can get all the way up by barely clearing this cannonball and then do a very precise jump on this Monstar. This allows us to get this next piece by combining a corner boost with a Monstar bounce and removes the need for the ring. We pick up a key and place the ring at a very precise spot on the ground. The intended way is to place the ring on top of the cannon, but it's very slow to get here. Instead, it was discovered that if you place it here, you slow down the cannon just enough to get out of this cave. You have about 4 frames to get out, depending on your ring placement and how well you clear this jump. At this last part, you are again supposed to use the ring, but you don't even have it anymore. So German lines up a jump here which hits the Monstar at the apex of his trajectory, making it possible to get enough height to get this second puzzle piece. You re-enter the level to despawn the ring. You have to place the ring down here to slow down this sliding beam. If you don't, you can't complete the last part of this level. You'll also notice that German seemingly at random freezes time on this level. Once, very little at the very start, and then again for a longer time here. This is due to the plants at the other side of the level. If we perform the exact same time freezes under the plants, we see that this Monstar makes it safely across. So German, with some precise timings, manipulates the plants off screen to get a very quick jump up here. If you hit this jump too early, you die. If you hit this jump too late, you will not get up on this platform. You only have about 3 frames to do it, and it loses you about 15 seconds to miss it. This is a common spot to let your nerves ruin a good run. German puts the ring down here to slow down this plant. Since he finished the first part so quickly, he wants to jump on a Monstar instead of waiting for the platform when picking up the second piece. This is another very precise jump which is easy to fail. It's time for the mother of all corner boosts, and this level is completed. This next level introduces green platforms that make Tim green. This complicates matters quite a bit, but we'll try to explain it as best as we can. First of all, when Tim exits a green platform, he stays green for a couple of seconds. This makes it possible to rewind time when Tim is in the air without Tim going back in time. So he can do stuff like this. You need to use the ring here to make one platform go under the other one you stand on. Since both are green and you want to move left, you need to stand on this platform before you jump to the ladder so you can rewind back and forward to your destination. When German picks up this puzzle piece, he rewinds at the same time, causing it to be stuck on the screen. This is a graphical glitch, but it counts as being picked up. If you do something, rewind back to a green platform, and then forward time again, what you did was still done, although Tim is no longer in the same timeline. So when Tim stands here, with the key in his hand and the platform moving down, it will be as if everything still happened, but Tim is now gone. So the key is here, and the platform will push the key down so it lands on the ground. It's the same with this puzzle piece. It's not green, so Tim will lose it when he rewinds, but he will get it back when he forwards time again, although he's standing in a different place. The whole reason for this strategy is to skip this very slow climbing section. Here you're supposed to place the ring on the ground temporarily to catch this key, as it will be landing later. But German doesn't want to use the ring if he can avoid it. So instead he's gonna let Tim fall down the same way he climbed up, while rewinding since he keeps the green state from this area. German rewinds time as he's falling to make sure he can reach the key before it falls in the pit. He also forwards time to make this cannonball pass through him. If all of this is done correctly, he can now pick up this key without using the ring. He now needs to climb back up. German tried to beat a cannonball cycle, but he was too late. He had to rewind here and redo it, losing about 5 seconds. German picks up this piece and World 6 is done. Only 5 more levels left to go.
We now have the completed ladder to the attic. The mechanic of this world is that everything except you moves backwards in time. You can alter the way time flows backwards for an individual Monstar by jumping on it. This second level used to be very straightforward. You'd wait here to disrupt the flow of time for this Monstar, then wait here to jump on him. If it were possible to jump over this gap, it could save about 10 seconds on this level. The 2013 TAS was able to set up a jump, which was later coined a TAS jump, to clear this gap. Some runners managed to get it as well in practice only, but lacked a good setup for a single segment run. Throughout 2020, Dell, German, and Kanban found better and better setups to make this jump doable in single segment runs. I will try to explain how this jump can be performed. You must jump about here into the ladder. You have about 4 frames to do so. If you miss this, you won't be able to exit the ladder at the right pixels. You climb up the ladder and exit it at exactly this frame. You buffer a jump as soon as you leave the ladder so you can jump right as you land. If you did all this correctly, you now get the only corner boost that makes this jump possible. Very soon after the corner boost, no more than 3 frames later, you need to tap left for 1 frame exactly. If Tim moves too fast, the game won't allow him to jump. So you tap left to slow down just enough. If you hold left for 2 frames, you lose too much speed and you won't reach the platform. No more than 4 frames after you hit the corner boost, you need to jump. And if you do all that correctly, you can clear this gap. This is what it looks like when done optimally at normal speed. When Gurman did this level, he missed the timing at the bottom of the ladder and was not able to exit at the right frame. He noticed it quickly and had to redo the whole ladder climb. After that, he was able to pull it off quite well, but ended up losing about 10 seconds here. This level forces you to disrupt the timeline of Monstars, as the ladder is gone. The game intends you to use 2 Monstars, but Gurman manages to use only 1. This trick is not too difficult, but loses you a lot of time if you fail it. We now reach the finale of the game. This level has 2 endings. One regular ending and an alternate ending, unlocked by gathering 7 stars before you get here. Now, we have not gathered any stars, so why would we even mention this? Well, it's possible to unlock the alternate ending without gathering any stars, but it's tricky. It's very much worth trying, as the alternate ending is 50 seconds faster than the normal one. This level is almost an auto-scroller. You have a wall of fire behind you that you have to avoid, and many cycle-based beams, cannonballs, and plants to hinder your progress. The normal ending would have you go all the way here, and then force you to rewind the whole level back at ×1 speed to complete the level. This is very slow. The alternate ending puts you 1 plant cycle ahead, which makes it possible to reach this point before the chandelier goes up. This makes it possible to ride the chandelier up again, actually causing the princess to explode. This is faster because it happens a bit earlier in the level, but mostly due to the fact that you can now just run back over the top. This is a straight line, while the ×1 rewind goes up and down quite a bit and also forces you to watch this opening scene again. This alternate ending is possible due to a series of tricks. Before this point, there is nothing you can do to gain time. The first trick is to jump here as soon as possible without dying, and then again, jump as soon as you land. You cannot buffer, as the moving platform eats the input, so this is a tricky jump. The second and most important trick is this corner boost right here. Without it, you cannot unlock the alternate ending. Gurman actually did not get a great corner boost here, only a weak one. This usually won't work, unless you cleared the jump before almost perfectly. He did not want to go back and redo this, knowing it could cost him the sub 23. So he gambled that it was good enough. Luckily for him, it was enough to barely clear this cannonball, a vitally important move for this trick to work. He even got a head boost here, which makes the whole next section a lot more lenient. You need to switch this lever while going left as little as possible, and then climb these trellises very effectively. If you are able to jump on this Monstar, you know you've made it. Because of all of this, Gurman will get ahead of the plant cycle, and he can now go up the chandelier to unlock the alternative ending. When you jump up on the chandelier, you may accidentally fall off of it as it goes up. If that happens, you will soft lock the whole game, ruining the speedrun entirely. It's rare, but it can happen. This long run back is not too eventful. You try to get a corner boost at the very end, as well as a good door entry. This is the final level in the game. Normally, you'd just fall down and run back here to pick up this key. But we do have this platform over here, teasing speedrunners with the possibility of clearing this gap. Using the task jump technique from the previous level, clearing this gap is indeed possible, and it turns out even easier than the previous one. You start the level with no inputs, then you freeze at this exact frame. You let go of the freeze and hold right at the same time. This sets you up for a nice corner boost. Shortly after the corner boost, you need to hold left for 2 to 3 frames to slow down, and then jump before you reach the 10-frame limit. Although this is not too difficult, it's the last significant trick of the run, and Gurman was on the run of a lifetime, so he had to be on a knife's edge. Getting this first try must have been a massive relief. It saves about 5 to 6 seconds compared to running around the old way. Gurman even gets a very nice corner boost here as a cherry on top of this run. And with that, he had done it. Sub 23.
This is a remarkable speedrun, but just how perfect is it? Gurman did lose 10 seconds on this level, but were there other mistakes as well? He lost about 5 seconds on this level. He lost 2 seconds here when he missed the turn timing of this trick. The failed jump down here lost him another 2 seconds. In this level, he lost time dying to this plant, as well as not getting the frame perfect rabbit at first try. 3 seconds in total was lost on this level. He also lost 1 second here by having to recover this trick. 1 second was lost to this door. At the last level, Gurman did a small rewind here before deciding to keep this corner boost. He also got an unintended ladder jump here, losing about 2 seconds in total on this level. And that's about it. In total, this amounts to 26 seconds of time that could have been saved, shortening the run down to a 22:30. All in all, this run is very optimized but beatable. There are none to really challenge it at this time. The second place runner at the moment is Kanban with a 23:30, and the third is PY with a 24:14. It's dangerous to make predictions when it comes to runs, but it seems that this run will stay on the top for a long time. The only one who seems to be able to beat this is Gurman himself.